Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Connie Douglas from Great Stamping with Connie. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. It is Thursday evening, and I'd like to welcome you to Connie's Craft Along. And I'm so glad that you are here to join me on this crafting adventure. Um, Full disclosure, I know what I'm doing. I said that in my post. Hopefully, you saw that. And perhaps you've prepared some crafting bits and pieces for this evening, or maybe you're just going to watch and follow along and visit. So either way, it's all good. If you are here, do say hello. Let me know that you are watching, and always love to know who's joining me on this adventure. who can I who can I get to help me with what do I do next and all the rest of it. So thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. And I love hanging out and crafting together. So tonight, I don't exactly know what I'm doing. I did do some mental prep. I did cut some pieces. I have some things, cut and ready to go, but I don't honestly know exactly what this is going to be. But I did want to share some new colors with you. So it's all about colors and shapes tonight. So let's just put this down and we can get started. So what I suggested you prepare was card bases. Obviously, we do need some card bases to to hold it all. And then I suggest you pick 3 colors. So I have chosen 2 colors that you may be familiar with. Pretty Peacock. Do you remember this? This was one of our in colors. I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 3 or 4. I'm not positive. Not too long ago, but a little bit. And there was some gorgeous Christmas paper with Pretty Peacock and Night of Navy and gold, and I think Mossy Meadow was the 3rd color. But it was stunning, and a lot of people loved it, and a few people stocked up on it. Some people, I think, still have some in their stash. I don't know whether I do. I kind of think mine is all used up, but anyway, it was lovely. So Pretty Peacock is one of our returning colors in our color refresh. So that is back. Here's another one. You need to, oh gosh, I don't have very many of these circles cut. Anyway, you need to have been around a little bit longer for this one. This is Lost Lagoon. And it was, I want to say maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Time goes so fast. That was just a couple of years ago, and then you find out it was 4 or 5. So there's maybe 7 or 8. But we didn't have Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock at the same time. But now we do. And look, they are lovely together. So I'm quite excited to be sharing these in tandem this evening. Hey, you may have noticed this card base. Might be wondering what color that is. What color is that? It's not Sweet Sorbet. No, not at all. It's kind of purplish, but it's not Fresh Freesia. This is one of our new in colors. There are 5 new in colors, and this is one of them. This is Moody Mauve. At least if you live in Canada or Australia or the UK, it is Moody Mauve. If you live in the US, it's Moody Mauve. They say it differently. There's a few colors in our new color palette that, depending where you live, you pronounce the names quite differently. So it's going to be interesting as we talk about the colors that we're using in our cards and things, depending on where you live. But when they were introducing these colors to us, Stampin' Up! Did a video, and they were talking about Moody Mauve, Moody Mauve, Moody Mauve. And I was watching with people from my team who were, what? What did they say? What color is that? What? Did they say mauve, as in M-O-B? Moody mauve, mauve. Anyway, eventually we figured out that it was mauve, which is how they pronounce what we call mauve. So anyway, now we know. So Moody Mauve, there we go. And then I have some white, thick, basic white, thick card bases. I have some basic white circles. I chose the stitched circle dies as my shape, but you can use anything you have. If you have other layering circle dies or circle punches, or if you have the Stylish Shapes has squares in it, or you can cut squares, you can cut rectangles. It really doesn't matter. This is just about putting some layers and some colors and things together. So I am going to use probably 2 stamp sets tonight. I haven't entirely figured that out either. Something fancy. This will be in the new catalog. I wanted to make thank you cards. So I was looking for stamps that were going to retire so that I could, show you in case there was something that you had missed and you wanted to add to your collection. So the first one I pulled out was this Wildflower Path. This is retiring, and it's got this nice little thank you in it. So I was using that for one card, and then I went looking and I thought, look at that, there's a lovely thank you. And then I opened this, and whoopsie. This stamp set is brand new. I haven't even used it. I ordered it because I really wanted the dies, different shapes for sentiments, and I wanted the dies. And I decided I would get the bundle because it did have some wonderful sentiments as well. But I haven't actually used it yet. So tonight's the first night. We're going to use this thank you. There's this really nice happy birthday here if you just want a little strip sentiment. And then some other really wonderful things. Here's to beautiful beginnings and happily ever afters. Wouldn't that be nice for a wedding card? And then nothing fancy, just love. Oh, that's good just about any time for anyone. Yes, so there's, oh, I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration. Oh, yeah, that one can come in handy. So, great stamp set, and now I'm going to use it. And then two-tone flora, and this stamp set as well will be carrying over to the new catalog, which is great because I really like it. This one I have used, so actually these aren't too bad. You can see there's a little bit of stain on them, but some of them are, well, that doesn't look too bad on camera, does it? But it's quite pink in real life, as is this one. So they are getting loved and well loved and all the rest of it. So I didn't turn that. Gosh, I was stamping, trying to figure out, which way is up, and oh my goodness, I messed up a lot of pieces of cardstock, but that's okay. It was on a card base, so I have just cut some layers that we will add to it, put it over top, and then you will never know. So I'm just going to move this stuff out of the way. Oh, and I suggested as well that maybe you bring along some of your negatives from if you had cut dies or punched a shape out. Bring the negatives. So here's a few negatives that I may use for some crafting. We'll see. Like I said, I don't really know what I'm doing, so it's not anything entirely new, though, is it? Okay, we're going to start with a couple things that I did kind of think through, plan out. So I've already stamped this so you can see, but this is the Moody Mauve card base, and then I had a pretty peacock piece that I had cut some circles out of, and I have run this through the cut and emboss machine to emboss it. And this is the Embossing Basics, which is an online exclusive. It's 3 embossing folders in one package, and I love them. So this is one of them. You'll see one of the others in, I think, just about everything else I'm doing tonight, but this is the one that's sort of flowery. So I just placed this over top of my card base, and then I stamped my flower right onto the card base. And this is where I messed up because I got it upside down on some of them. But this one is the right direction. So I've stamped this in Moody Mauve on Moody Mauve cardstock. And then the darker color, the little lines, a little bit hard to see. But here, bring it a little closer for you. There you go. The darker lines are actually another color that has returned. And I know I said pick three, and now I'm bringing in a fourth, but just for a little bit of ink, Berry Burst. This is similar to the Moody Mauve, but it is darker. So it was good for putting the lines onto my flower. So here's a little bit of an interesting story. This is Moody Mauve. This is one of the new in colors. So this is a brand spanking new ink pad, very pristine, not messed up, no ink stains anywhere yet. Whoops, just a little bit of fuzz in here. So it's very new. And when you get these, they are very, very juicy. So here's my story. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Connie, and she loved to stamp, and she loved to get new things to stamp with, like new in color ink pads. When she gets them, though, they are very juicy. And if you stamp with them, you may find that they are very, very dark. So she decided to stamp off, which made it very, very light. Then, little trick, if you want something in between, open up your ink pad and take the back of a plastic spoon and just slide it along your ink pad, pushing the ink in one direction. So I am pushing it from this end towards the other end, and that will lighten your image because there's less ink in the ink pad there. And you can just clean this, you can just wipe this with paper towel, or if you run it under water, it will come clean. You can give it a little bit of a clean up with your chamois. So because our inks are water-based, it's very easy to clean off of a plastic spoon. But what that does is gives you an intensity right in between those two. Hopefully you can see the difference. So we've got dark, light, and medium. Okay. And I might be able to give you just a little demonstration of that. Let me just grab a stamp here. Just going to grab a solid image and put it on a block. I have lots of stamps mounted on blocks right now. So, okay, where is a piece of white cardstock now? It's okay. Don't anybody panic. I brought a whole package. So we'll just start with a whole great big sheet. And move some of these things out of the way. So where's my spoon? So if I stamp, I'm going to ink it on this end because this is full strength ink. I should have, because this is a photopolymer, I'm just going to sneak my stamp and pierce mat underneath there so that I have a cushion. Kind of getting out of the camera here. I'm just going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp it right down onto there. Full strength, very dark, very intense, very juicy ink pad. Okay. When I pull the ink away from this top part and drag it down towards the bottom, and then use that to stamp, just get excess ink off there. I ink it up here. It doesn't look a whole lot different. It is lighter. Oh, that's not easy to see, is it? I'm sorry. I can see it in real life. This one is very, very dark. This one is a little less dark. And if I pulled even more ink off, you would probably see it being even lighter. But hopefully you get the idea. So if you get new ink pads and they are just super, super juicy, just use a plastic spoon to push the ink away from one side and then use that to get a little bit less intense image. And then over time, it will likely just sort of seep back. But if it doesn't, just use your plastic spoon and pull it back. And when you think your ink pad needs to be re-inked, often it's right in the center part that you think is dry. Sometimes you can even see that it's dry. If you take your spoon and you pull ink from the edges of your ink pad towards the center, where we tend to stamp from, it'll have enough ink again. So just a couple little ink pad tricks as we get going there. Okay, I am just going to clean this off because I don't know if I'm going to use it again tonight. And if I do, I don't know what color I will be using. So anyway, okay, set these aside. So I have that. So then I think I am going to pop this up with dimensions. So let's just get some dimensionals going on here. And because it's got cutouts, it will tend to sag a little bit in places. So I'm going to be generous with my dimensionals. And put them into a number of the slots here. There we go. I think that should do. That's probably more than I need, but I'm erring on the side of too many dimensionals. Not that that's really a thing. Some of my crafting friends love dimensionals and they don't believe there's any such thing as too many. You can have lots. You can put lots on each piece and you can put dimensionals on many, many layers in the card. And everything should get popped up. So we do love our dimensionals. They just a little bit that adds so much to your paper crafting. Okay, so there are lots of new in colors. Tomorrow, tomorrow at 11 to be exact, our Sisters Inspiring Sisters blog hop will share some of the new items from the catalog, and I used another one of the new in colors. So if you want to know about that, check out Instagram tomorrow at 11, or you can check my blog on Saturday because it will be my blog post on Saturday. So, and eventually it will make it to other social media. I just haven't scheduled it to go any of those other places yet. So Instagram on Friday and my blog on Saturday, and then it will be in my my email on Sunday. Now this one, I've just put that on a single layer of dimensionals, but I actually want this to sit higher than that. So I'm going to go back and put a second layer of dimensionals on here so that it's above this blue. We do this sometimes when we have things that cross over edges, right? If we've got something with dimensionals under it, we have a sentiment piece that dangles over and we want it on dimensionals. We need two on the outside and one on the overlap part. I'm gonna put that right in there. And then this guy, originally I had him sitting down. I guess he couldn't he? Could be interesting getting that down in there now, though. It's a lot easier when it's not sticking up, but we'll see what we can do here. Actually, I should probably use some liquid glue in case I need to move it around a little bit. I don't get it in quite the right place. And this is just pretty peacock ink on one of my glossy beans. There we go. I didn't even fold this card base. So I guess I should do that, shouldn't I? A little lumpy now. There we go. And wow, I didn't get out any gems for this. Didn't really think about what gems we would use. Maybe some gold. Using these earlier, and they will work. One right there, and there we go. Okay, one card successful. So let's move on and okay, so here, fessing up, upside down flower. I don't know whether you can tell. Can you see that it's upside down? It's not terrible, but it is upside down. So that's okay. Hey, Pat, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I'm just, wandering down the crafting adventure path here. Don't really know where I'm going. So I'm going to put this Lost Lagoon cardstock right over top of this, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So before I mess that up, maybe we'll build it. It's going to go over here. So it's going to cover up my my upside down flower. So you will not see that in the end. But I will bring back some of the circles that we had. What shall we use here? I could easily stamp something on there, and that, thank you. I don't know. It might be tight. I'm going to see if I can get it onto that little circle. If I can't, I have a bigger circle. And then, well, I don't think I want that, do I? So I guess I want one of these. But maybe just a decoration. That might work. Think that'll work? Okay, let's give it a go. And I'll see if I can do, maybe I can do tone on tone stamping on that. Okay, so let's just set this over here. I'm going to start with my sentiment on here and see if it will in fact fit, because I'm not convinced that it will. So maybe Pretty Peacock ink. Let's just see. So it's, one question whether it'll fit, and second question whether I can get it centered on here, looking on an angle. We'll give it a go. See what happens. It's just paper, right? We can always cut some more. Oop. Okay, so it fits, but I don't have it well placed. And I think it would be easier to place if I put it on the bigger one. So stop messing around with that, and I'm going to put this onto the larger circle and be done with it. There we go. And then let's try, we'll do some Pretty Peacock leaves on here as we did with the other. Can you see that bit of, it's like I've got itty bitty bits of cardstock layers. It's not fluff, but whatever it is, it should not be on my ink pad. So let's just put that right about there, and we'll see how it looks. Again, if it doesn't look right, it's just paper. We'll take it off and use something different. But I think that'll work. That will show up okay. This will show up okay. And then what shall we put on this one? How about a whole bunch of little flowers? That will be a little bit easier than me messing around with things on the two-tone stamp or two-step stamping. And I don't even have another block here, so let's just pull that off of there for now. Not that the two-step stamping is difficult, but I just kind of want to get one card done here. One that I didn't have planned. Okay. So I think for this, I am just going to stamp this all over the place, over the edges. Just have lots of flowers streaming all around here. There we go. It'll just be flowers everywhere. And if we set that down on the card and we don't like it, guess what? We'll grab another piece of paper and start over. Okay. So I have all of my pieces. So let's put, what do we think? Flowers up here, or thank you in the middle. I do like that, thank you. And you can turn this, you could have it on an angle, you could have it straight. I think I'll put it on fairly straight here. And then this one, that one turned out well. I wasn't sure, but I really like how it turned out. And these we can pop up as well, can't we? Down, up, down, up. Should I pop them all up? What the heck, eh? Pop them all up. Who was it that loved dimensionals? I need another sheet of big dimensionals, so I'm down to bits and pieces here. Here's a bunch of edge pieces, but I'm kind of running out here. I need to cut these up a little bit. Sometimes people will say to me, "Oh, you use the edge bits?" It's like, absolutely. We use everything. They're all just dimensionals and they work just fine. So yes, just chop up your borders, the border of your dimensional sheets, and they work perfectly. Because why would we want to throw those out? Perfectly good dimensionals. Okay, so I'm going to start with the largest circle because I think that it's easier to fit small circles around it. But I'm just going to set that down. I didn't actually push it at all in case we look at it and decide we need to move it, right? And this we're going to put down fairly close, keeping it straight. And then this will just be a little accent down at the bottom. I do like the tone-on-tone stamping with the pretty peacock. That shows up very nicely. Now see, I've got a lot of space at the bottom here. And then it makes my top look very close together. So that's why I didn't want to push it down. So that opportunity to just rearrange things a little bit. I think that's better. Okay, pushing it all down. I could have even done through there too, but I did not, and that's okay. Now, this is the second folder from those embossing basics cases, like little hashes one way and the other way, depending what you're using. Somebody said it looks like sort of straw from an Easter basket, so it was great at Easter using it for baskets or behind baskets or just to you know, for the bunny to sit on and things. Just sort of gave the illusion of being small-like. Okay, what do we think for gems this time? Because of course we need gems, right? Good grief. Of course we need gems. What about opals? Ooh, they might work. Put some opal rounds on here. I can never remember. Yes, they are two sizes. Sometimes, depending on the angle that you look at things, they look like they're all one size, and they're not. Put one on here. Just to add something a little bit fun to that. And then where now? I don't know why I struggle with where to put the gems sometimes. I don't think there's a wrong spot really. You know, you can put them anywhere. They would all look good. But that's kind of fun. I like, you know what? Layers of shapes, quick and easy. Not too much thinking. Hopefully, not too much strain on the brain. Just gonna clean off a couple stamps before we start one more card here because otherwise, you know, I will have a problem. Have to know it, right? I mentioned recently that I was trying to sort of quickly fix up some stamping that I had messed up on one of my lives. So I didn't clean my stamps, and then I forgot to clean them overnight, and so they just sat. Not truly ideal. Hey, I have another upside down flower because, of course, doing it once wasn't enough to learn. I had to do it twice. I thought I had turned the stamp, but then I was looking at things and I hesitated for a moment and then I couldn't remember. And so I think I know which way is up now, but there are no guarantees. So look, we're just going to cover this one up. And this time, I think we'll use one of these. What do you think? Could use a few of them, right? Okay, so I think what I was thinking, I suppose that could work, but maybe this, and then I don't think this one, that might be kind of light. Maybe this one. Let's put that on there. And I think I will do the same thank you. So I'm going to use this size again, but we want to do it different, right? Oh, look, we've got thank you at the bottom and in the middle. So I guess what? Thank you should go at the top this time. And that, and then I can just put a flower down. A similar sizing, isn't it? Looks a little funny. This is the same size. So what do I want? I want something smaller. So you know what? I thought this might happen. I didn't know for sure, but look, I brought my dies and cardstock, and I even brought my mini machine. So, um, sorry, folks, you'll have to just let me wiggle you for a moment. I just want to cut, because I don't think I want. Oh, I could. Do I have a pink circle? I could do it on pink, couldn't I? Sorry, moody mauve. That could work. Then I don't have to cut anything. Okay, and then it picks up the card base. That might be the way to go. Is that the way to go? Okay, you know what? I don't know. I need to see it. So I am going to cut, I'm going to cut one of these stylish shaped circles and then we can evaluate. So get ready to wiggle, folks. Sorry. Just be a moment here. Okay. Set that down there. If you don't have one of these little mini guys, they're so much fun. They're quick and easy to use. They take up a very small footprint in your storage area. So if you don't have a lot of crafting space, they're still really handy. And they will cut almost all of our dies. Not all of them, but almost all. And then there are embossing folders that we make in many machines. They are half size. Yeah, maybe not, eh? It looked like a lot of Moody Mauve the other way, and it looks like a lot of Lost Lagoon this way. Well, that's a dilemma. I suppose the alternative, or do I have a large, I don't have a large Moody Mauve circle left? I should, shouldn't I? One. Oh, maybe not. This, okay, let me just see if we can get an idea here. Can you tell it? No, hard to see. Okay, sorry, I'm at it again. Okay. I won't. Okay. Now I'm throwing things. Is this anything like your creative process? Please tell me everyone does this. Everyone sort of fidgets and fusses and tries this and tries that, and you know what works and what doesn't work. And now I have to bring in the trimmer and cut some paper. Moody Mauve cardstock. I will measure this though and see. This needs well, 2.5 inches. Cut ourselves a strip of that. Don't bring this guy back in. What did I do with the cutting plates? Over here. Cutting plate, cardstock, die. Should I throw another one on while I'm at it? I do have some of the extras. I should be okay. Probably should have loaded it up, but alas, I have not. Get ready to wiggle again, folks. Sorry. Okay. Nope. I'll put that down again because now I think maybe we're done. We will see. Put these up here. Done with that. Let's see what we think of this. See if this looks better. I suppose if I had had space in between, it may have worked rather than having the two colors side by side, or the same color side by side. But look, this could work. What do you think? Okay. Does that work? I think that will work. Oh, I wondered what that noise was. My cat must be having a dream. It's making a little bit of a funky noise. Okay, so let's do this Lost Lagoon this time. Bringing in this and my Lost Lagoon ink and my thank you. I'm gonna make another thank you card because can't have too many of those around. And these are great because it'll share our new color palette with people. And look, that was me. Too much talking, not enough concentrating. Oh, sure hope I have another piece of white. I do. Okay. I sort of I set it down before I set it down. So nope, it was me with making a shadow. I don't even see ink on there. But okay, I don't really know where that's coming from. It's a little bit of a dilemma. Let's see if we get one more kick at this. How many of these white guys did I cut? Probably not enough, right? No. So here's an option. We'll see what it looks like on there. Or guess what? Oh my goodness. So turn this off. There's no ink on it. I don't know where that was coming from, but clearly it was there because it ended up on the cardstock. I may be able to do this too. It's not quite as bright, but I think I can flip this over. You can still see the stitching on it. So it's sometimes the back of die cuts don't work well, and sometimes they do. So this one I think is going to be okay. There, look, there we go. No shadows, nice and bright. I don't mind that, but it's just a little bit dull. Okay, whoops, we weren't finished where we want to add some greenery to this one. A little tone on tone stamping here. Don't. This should work. This doesn't really have a right place or a wrong place, so. Okay, here we go. And then we can put this guy together. So for this one, I think I'm going to pop the flower up because it is similar colors. It's a little bit different because of my tone on tone stamping, but they're both moving rolls. I'll pop this up so that you can just see it rather than. No, that will go probably there. And then we have, thank you. Okay, so these I'm going to pop up as well. My messed up, thank you. But you'll never see it when it's stuck down. So it's all good. Okay. This one, maybe I'll just leave him sitting there. Put these down. I like to use liquid glue when I'm using embossed surfaces, just so the glue gets into the nooks and crannies. Here, and then we can add the flower. Right in between those two, and then some glue on the back. Go on the card base, and it will totally hide my upside down flower. Salvage the card base. If you do mess up the front of a card base and something like this isn't an option, you can always cut it and then you just have pieces of cardstock to use. So there's always something you can do. I wonder what I was thinking. Perhaps I could just add some more circles here. I don't know what I have left. I don't have a whole lot I don't have a whole lot of small circles left, don't I think? Mm. I need small circles. Yes. In what colors? And I don't know if I will want these, but let's see what we get. Oh look, here's some more. I did have a few more. Here's two pretty peacock and another nudie mauve that we could, oh, let's see, we could do it like that. You almost see it? Hmm. No, it needs to be Lost Lagoon. Okay, so we have two of those, but let's cut a couple of Lost Lagoons. Should have done that while I was at it before, right? Okay. Have these. Good thing I have this handy, don't you think? Who knew we'd be doing this much die cutting tonight? That's what happens when you're not sure what you're doing. You just kind of follow whichever way things go. That's why I call it a crafting adventure. In case anyone was wondering where that came from. It's from the part about I don't know exactly where we're going to end up. A little more jiggling, I know, I'm sorry. Again, there we go. Okay. I'm not sure. Not sure these are going to work, but we'll give it a look-see and go from there. Put it back in there. A small miracle if I don't lose anything small, don't you think? Okay. So have some pink. I just tuck those underneath. Something different. Oh no. One. In there. Pop that one up. Maybe, eh? Just for something different. I don't know. I'm just gonna put it together because it's not terrible. I don't know if I love it. When you have this sort of situation, if you can't decide, what I would do, I wouldn't glue it down, even though I am gluing it down now, but just leave it sitting on your desk and at the end of the day. And then tomorrow, when you come back to your craft studio, take a look at it again. And sometimes you'll look at it and go, nope, that does not work. And sometimes you'll look at it and go, oh my goodness, I really like that. That's exactly right. That'll do. And sometimes you look at it and go, nope, it's not right like this, but I know exactly what I want. I want to rearrange this, or I want to change this piece, or I want to add this color, or whatever it is. But there's something about just leaving it and letting your subconscious brain mull it over overnight, and you come back in the morning and you know exactly where it needs to go. So that's I have learned to just kind of walk away, she says, even though she didn't tonight. But a lot of times I would just leave it and then come back and look at it in the morning and make a decision at that point. But we've made the decision and this is where we are. So look, you know what? I'm going to use up those two. These are iridescent pearls, and for some reason I have two tiny ones sitting on this card, and that's all that's left on here. So guess what? I'm going to use them. I am going to sprinkle these guys all over the place on this card. Look. Oh! And just and then we're just going to sprinkle some more small ones around on here. Do I need to count? Do I need to know how many I've got going on here? Now, I think when you get to a certain point, you have lots. Then the the odd number thing isn't as crucial. There we go. I think it works. Oops. It might work better if I put it in the camera, right? Okay, so there we have it. Put this in here. Move some of these things out of the way. So there are 3 cards, just variations on a theme using 3 colors and a shape, and just playing with how you put it all together, right? Look, I'm all crooked. No surprise there, given the cut and emboss machine going on and everything else that we've done tonight. Okay, let me come back here and join you for a moment. Here we go. All right. So those are the cards. I don't know what shape you use. It would be fun with little squares or rectangles, circles, ovals, stars, or different punch shapes. You can even use, flowers or something, anything at all. It's all up to whatever creativity uh, inspires you, or whatever inspires your creativity, I guess is more what I was trying to say. Anyway, I use circles. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. I love crafting and I love to share my crafting with you, and I love when you come along on my crafting adventure. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. We'll see you all again really soon. Take care. Bye for now.